there's an American perspective on things. There's an Israeli perspective on things. President Biden was in the Oval Office last night kind of talking about legacy. I know he wants Middle East peace, obviously, would be part of his legacy if he gets a deal. What about the Israeli perspective on things? Is Netanyahu willing to cut a deal, do you think?
I think he is, but I think that the devil is in the details here. And unfortunately, I don't think that a presidential legacy can be peace in the Middle East in the current half year or perhaps even longer. But we might get a ceasefire deal. We might get the start of a day after in Gaza, which will bring hope to Israelis, hope and security to Israelis, hope and security and dignity to Palestinians, and perhaps something that is different from what we've had in Gaza for the last 17 years under Hamas rule.
Do you think, and I know there's no exact science to this, but if I said to you, would you give better than 50% odds of a ceasefire before the end of the year, what would you say? Because Netanyahu was very aggressive, I thought, yesterday in Congress. What would you say about that?
I'd say that there's a good chance of that because there is sincere willingness in Israel. There's a lot of pressure from the side of the families.
Yes.
Very understandable pressure, who want to see their loved ones home. And the success on the battlefield, which we're not speaking a lot about here, but the pressure is heavy on Hamas. And the heavier the pressure is, the higher the likelihood that they will agree to a deal that will release Israeli hostages and will have them reunited with their families.
All right, let's take those in order. So if we have the statement from the families of American hostages, they're meeting with the president and the prime minister today. Let's put that up on the screen. And what they said was, he failed, Netanyahu, to present any new solutions of a new path forward. Above all, he failed to commit to the hostage deal that's now on the table, even though Israel's senior defense and intelligence officials have called on him to do so. What do you say?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the focus of his speech. And I think one of the journalists counted, and they counted the word deal once. Yeah. Iran was mentioned 28 or 29 times, I think, and deal was only mentioned once.
I mean, you're used to representing the government, but you can understand now that you're on the outside how someone would be disappointed in that, how these people would be.
And I feel their pain. I can only imagine what they're going through. And there's a lot of political tensions, and especially when the heads of security keep on indicating openly in the public and to the government that, yes, we are ready to make a deal, and that from a military point of view, we can make a deal and still obtain the goals that the government set forward to obtain. That puts a lot of pressure, and I hope that a little bit more military pressure on Hamas will allow them to fold enough, and then hostages will have an easier way out. But we have to remember that we're talking about, by design of Hamas, a long period of time that it'll take before hostages, if they all are released, before we get all our hostages back, it'll be more than the year term, right? We're now month 10, so it'll take probably 2 months, according to the details that are available, for Israeli hostages actually to get home. And that's a long time in the Middle East, a long time for things to go wrong. Hopefully they won't, and hopefully we will see them back soon.
A couple of other things for you while we have you here. I'm sure you saw the protests in Washington. We'll talk about them in a moment. But I do want to play a clip from the White House today from John Kirby, who represents the President of National Security Matters. Here's what he had to say.
We want to get all the hostages home, clearly the Americans in particular. And that's why this deal is so important, Peter. And we are close. We are closer now, we believe, than we've been before.
That part I'll focus with you. Is that true, the closer now? The closest we've been, or closer than we've been, you think?
Yeah, we've been talking about the possibility of a deal for months. Weeks after the first deal was implemented in November, we've been talking about, and there have been speculations, and I've been in hundreds of interviews where that has been the question. I do feel, according to the information that I have available from the negotiation teams, from the government, from others, that there is enough pressure to push this forward now. And therefore, I am a little bit more hopeful than I've been over the last half year to see my fellow countrymen home. Sadly, yesterday, Israeli commandos raided into Gaza and were able to exfiltrate 5 bodies of Israelis that were killed, 1 civilian and 4 soldiers, which is some solace and comfort for the families to have them now, at least to be able to bury them at home.
Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, stay informed and inspired. This is Djobnik signing off.